Let's talk about fandom. Hey kids, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I am Amanda, and today we're going to be talking about fandom and shipping and all that great fun stuff that comes from watching shows, movies, reading books. Fandom is essentially just a group of people who like the same show, book, or film. They get together on the internet and fangirl or fanboy all about their favorite things, typically in a way of making fan art, manipulations, writing fan fiction. All sorts of different things can come from fandom. One of the biggest things that you will see in fandom is shipping. I want to talk about this because for whatever reason, lately in the particular fandom that I am a part of, it is the Law & Order SVU fandom, there is a terrible amount of ship warring going on. Now, it's gonna happen in fandom. There are always gonna be ship wars, but when it crosses the line of starting to get personal, attacking the fan themselves, the shippers, if you will, as opposed to just the ship, or when it just comes out of nowhere, that's not okay. It's just not okay. For those of you that do not watch Law & Order SVU, you should totally watch it. It's an awesome show. But I do apologize. You may not know anything of what I'm talking about, but I am going to be talking to my fellow SVU fandom buddies, as well as maybe people who watch the show who aren't part of the fandom, because you can watch a show and not be part of a fandom. So essentially, within the Law & Order SVU fandom, there are two main ships, and then two kind of lower level ships, and then there are a ton of crack ships. What is shipping? Shipping is when there are two characters, whether main characters, side characters, one main, one side, doesn't matter, and you pair them up romantically, sexually. Some of the terminology you may hear thrown around are OTP, BroTP. BroTP is typically platonic. OTP is one true pairing. BroTP is bro true pairing. In other words, BFF. So the two main ships from what I can see are Barson, Benson, and Barba, and then Barisi, Barba, and Carisi. Then the two lower level ships would be Raleigh, Rollins, and Carisi. And then Ballins, I think. That might even be a crack ship, I'm not entirely sure. But that would be Barba and Rollins. I'm not going to specify which ship is doing what, but essentially there is one of the larger ships that just blatantly and for literally no reason at all attacks the other ship and its shippers just sporadically, especially lately. I'm really not sure why. I am of the opinion, ship and let ship. You can have your own opinions. You can even have discussions with shippers on the opposite side. You may not agree, and that's okay. When you start getting to personal attacks, or when you start, bashing a ship, blatantly bashing a ship, that's where you've crossed the line. And A, there's no need for it. B, what are you doing? It's a fictional show. Let's everybody calm down. The main point in this video is that people often, especially the younger viewers, I'm talking like the 14, 15, 16-year-olds, mistaken shipping for actual canon. Shipping is not made for canon. Shipping is made for fandom. What does that mean? It means that more often than not, ships are not going to be made canon just because a certain number of people ship this pairing. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is that the showrunners, the writers, they don't say to themselves, okay, so X amount of people want this pairing. X amount of people want this pairing. So which pairing should we go with? I know. Let's just see what they're saying about each other, and we'll just figure out which one would, give us more viewership. No, they do not say that. They write what they're going to write regardless of what you want, I want, anybody in the world wants. Now, of course, they take into consideration what their audience wants to see more of, and if it happens to coincide with the stories that they want to tell, great. But if it doesn't, shipping essentially is part of fandom. It is as much part of fandom as fan fiction is, as GIF manipulation, as fan art. It is as much part of fandom as any of those other things. Shipping was not made to let the writers know what you want. Shipping is meant to be fun. Shipping is meant to be used as a tool to kind of have a little fandom within a fandom, if you will. You find like-minded shippers that you can, talk about your ship with, and you can gush about things that are in canon that, oh my gosh, did you see the way they looked at each other? But it doesn't mean that it's going to happen in canon. In fact, more than likely with this particular show, it's not going to happen in canon because it has nothing to do with what the show is about. Law & Order SVU is a procedural about the cases. It is not about the characters and their relationships with each other. Yes, the relationships with each other is a part of that world because they A, have to work together on particular cases. B, one character may have a different perspective than another character, and that always makes for an interesting form of storytelling, but that always gives it another layer of depth. That doesn't mean that people are going to be paired together. Personally, I don't ship anyone with anyone for canon. I ship a certain ship because I see evidence in canon and I like to write about them. I like to read about them, but I haven't really written that much about them too, let's be honest. But I do like to read about them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I want it to be canon. Why? Well, let's look at the history of relationships on this show. How often have we seen a relationship between the two characters, any of the two characters, be it Rollins and Amaro, Liv and Tucker, Liv and Cassidy? How many times have we seen a relationship end well? The answer is 0. 0 times. Either one of them ends up leaving the show, or they break up and then they hate each other for, 10 episodes and then everything's okay again. I do not want anyone to leave the show. I happen to like the ensemble as is, so I don't ship anyone with anyone for the purposes of canon. However, for fandom, I ship the absolute shit out of 2 of those characters. I'm not going to say which one because I don't want any hate, although I might get hate anyway. Moreover, guys, these are fictional characters. At the end of the day, these fictional characters do not pay your bills. If you're still in school, they do not do your homework. They do not grade your papers. They do not do your chores. They do not feed you. They may feed your soul with feels, but they do not physically feed you with food. They do not sustain your life. So why are we getting so hell-bent out of shape and attacking each other so much only because this person or this group ships this ship and this group ships this ship? There is literally no reason for it. There's no rhyme or reason for it. We are all a part of the same fandom. And you know what? Considering the themes of the show of which the fandom exists, I would think that everyone in this fandom would practice acceptance, empathy, practice, what the show stands for. And that is, there have been a number of episodes against bullying, and yet we see a lot of it in this fandom. From one particular ship, I'm gonna be honest, it is one particular ship that seems to always antagonize the other ship. And weirdly enough, when the other ship fights back or stands up for themselves, all of a sudden they become the ones that are bullies. No, guys, no. That is not how the world works. Okay? Ship and let ship. Stay in your lane. Why would you want to have arguments with other ships anyway? The whole point of fandom is to find like-minded people and fangirl. That's why it's called fandom. Because fangirling and fanboying is so much fun. And when you find like-minded people that ship your same ship, Holy hell. I have had such great thought-provoking, in-depth conversation with the people that that are ship-minded, if you will, with myself, that it's crazy. And it's great because it helps you really look in depth in the episode. And I mean, starting a conversation, that's one of the greatest things about TV, movies, books, is they start conversations. And sometimes they're as insignificant and, you know, frivolous as shipping, but sometimes what starts off as shipping can lead into some real in-depth analysis about the subject matter that that episode covered. Bottom line, let's not mistaken fandom with canon. Fandom and canon are two separate worlds. They coexist because they are separate worlds. They do not coincide. They do not blend. In no world ever in my life have I ever seen a show make a ship, any particular ship, canon solely because the fans wanted it. Fandom can be a lot of fun. I have met the most amazing people in this fandom. And you know what? I've met a lot of people in this fandom that don't ship the ship that I ship. That was a lot of ships. But we still get along so well. We don't personally attack each other. In fact, we talk together all the time. And, you know, we may not have a discussion about our particular ships, but we do have discussions about the episode. And it's great to listen to another perspective. One last thing that I would like to mention. And that is, just because you don't agree with a particular ship, or just because you don't see what the shippers of a particular ship see within that ship, don't discount the ship. In other words, if you ship A and another person ships B, don't make it a point to say, well, B doesn't exist in canon. All of these, you know, scenes that you say are evidence are not, they don't exist. Don't discount or disregard evidence of another ship just because you see that evidence differently. It's really difficult to get this point across without giving particular ship examples, but I really do want to avoid giving ship examples because this is not targeted at any one ship. This is for shippers in general. And yes, there is one particular ship within our fandom that is a little more aggressive than the other, but I have seen it very rarely, but I have seen it the other way around too. So I don't want to call anybody out, okay? This is a wide message to you guys. This is me saying, let's everybody calm down. That goes back to ship and let's ship. Don't discount or disregard other ships, you know, canon evidence of their ship just because you don't agree with it. You can, you know, in your mind be like, well, this person's crazy. Or with other shippers that ship your ship, you can be like, did you see what they were talking about? I don't know what they're talking about. But don't go on social media and just broadcast for the whole world. And then on top of it, tag the ship in the post so that people from that other ship will see it. Don't do that because first of all, it's not cool. Secondly, I mean, what fandom are you in? Honestly, what fandom are you in? You are in the Law and Order SVU fandom. Do you really think that, you know, the actors of the show, the writers of the show, the showrunner of the show would agree with the amount of bullying that is going on within this fandom? Because I don't think so. I really don't think so. I've already said this, but I want to say it again. The writers do not pay attention to ship wars or ship numbers when they're writing their show. They're writing the stories that they want to tell. They are writing the stories that are going to reflect the message that they want to send. And that literally has nothing to do with shipping. Not a damn thing. And moreover, romantic relationships between these characters have nothing to do with the subject matter. I also apologize for getting so specific to a particular audience. I just really felt that this needed to be said, and I am a fan of SVU. I do review some of the episodes. I didn't review last week's episode. It just so happens that it is on tonight. I'm filming this on a Wednesday. This may or may not be posted today. Actually, I think I will post it today since it airs tonight. But I really needed to say it because I've seen it a lot more. It's always been present. But I have seen it a lot more as of late, especially on Twitter, not so much on Tumblr, but especially on Twitter, Instagram. I've seen a lot of just frivolous and pointless personal attacks on shippers and particular ships that they're just unnecessary. And it really goes against everything that this show stands for. The reason that the show has been on for so long is because it talks about things that need to be talked about. And one of those things is bullying and cyberbullying. And to see people within this fandom practicing bullying and cyberbullying, it's outrageous. And it needs to stop, guys. It needs to stop. Everybody needs to, everyone, myself included, needs to take a look inside themselves and needs to remember what this show stands for and why we love it so much. We love it so much because it talks about the things that no one really wants to talk about, but they need to be talked about. Bullying, rape culture, just so many different conversations coming about from this show that has been on almost 20 years. So let's not, take that for granted and just practice it. Like, don't attack another ship just because, unprovoked, just because you disagree with their ship. Stay in your lane. Talk to like-minded shippers. Talk to people within your ship. You're going to have way more fun talking to people within your ship and fangirling or fanboying over your own ship than you are fighting with somebody else who just wants to ship their ship in peace. I got for you today, kids. Those are my thoughts on shipping fandom. And once again, I just want to remind you that shipping was never made to be part of canon. Shipping has always been a part of fandom. It is as fictitious as fan fiction, as fan art, as GIF manipulation, photo manipulation. It is as fan-made as those things. Canon is not fan-made. Canon is never fan-made. Canon is the writers made. The writers decide what's canon. The showrunner decides what's canon, not us. So yelling, making enough noise is not going to get your ship made canon. I guarantee you. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content today, please go ahead and give me a like. It lets me know, what videos to do more of. There is a subscribe button down there. If you are so inclined, feel free to click that subscribe button and ding that little bell so that you get notifications every time I post a new video. I post every Wednesday and Friday. Be sure to follow me on social media if you are not already. All the links are down below. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you next time.